Namaste. Hi. Hope you've all tuned in and, you know, thank you very much for joining me on this very important session on physical and mental wellness in preparation for your journey. Well, I think nothing is really as tough as cracking an exam and an exam like the one that you appear for in terms of civil services. And nothing really makes you just sit at one place and focus as much as this exam makes you do it. Your syllabus is vast. There is endless stuff to read. There is a whole lot to remember. And there is a whole lot of sitting. Now, of course, when there is a whole lot of sitting, there is a whole lot of bloating, there is a whole lot of getting fat, there is a whole lot of irritation, there's a whole lot of stress, and all of us need things which will help us unwind and relax and also stay fit so that by the time we finish studying and we crack our exams, we actually come out on the other side feeling fitter, leaner, happier about our achievements. So here goes, I'm going to be telling you the importance of eating correctly. Then I'm going to be telling you all of the foods that you should be eating, which will help improve your focus and concentration, foods that will help you de-stress right before your exams. And as you all know, why should you be staying physically fit and active? And then finally, I'll talk to you about sleep. But before that, I want to tell you, as a speaker, I get invited to many places, but the place that I enjoy going to the most is Labasna at Missouri, because I almost never get an audience which listens as keenly, which has an analytic bent of mind, and which will articulate questions with insights that I otherwise don't quite have access to in the normal course of life. And I'm really happy that I'm talking to aspirants who plan to crack that exams, and hopefully someday we will meet in Missouri. But in the meanwhile, do know that there is nothing that is half as important as eating correctly. In fact, I would go to the extent of saying that if you fail to eat correctly, no matter how hard you study, you're probably going to retain nothing of it. It's not going to become a joy for you to just stay put at one place, nor are you going to be able to use it to your benefit when you actually need it. So, I'm sure all of you have heard of the story of this rishi who knew all of the Vedas, but then he went on a fast, he did not eat, and then he lost all of his Vidya. So, if you want to remember everything that you have spent time studying, then you must know that eating correct is the cornerstone of cracking any exam, especially the BAP of all exams like the one that this is. Now, when I'm talking about eating, what kind of food should we be eating? Well, we just need to be eating food which is local, which is seasonal, and which is traditional. Essentially, eat food which grows around the place that you live, eat food which is in season, and eat it in traditional preparations. Because if you do not eat local, seasonal, traditional, then you're not quite going to be sharp in your brain. You're just going to be large on your waist. And none of us wants that. I also know that for most people, when they're studying endlessly, the first thing that they reach out for is junk food. And I do hope that when you crack the exam and when you become policymakers, you will actually have the courage to do stuff against junk food. If nothing else, have the food industry pick up their packaging and process it. If they want to distribute it to every corner of India, the least that they should do is pick up their garbage. But in the meanwhile, what you must know is that as regular consumers, or as regular people who are studying for the exam, eating junk food is the worst thing that you can do, because it overloads you on things like salts and sugars and additives and emulsifiers and coloring agents. And instead of making your brain sharp, it actually begins to make it a little dull. So, what is the stuff that you should not eat? You should not eat anything that has an ad. So the first funda here is that if there is an ad, it is bad. It's not going to help you crack the exam. So anything with an ad, anything with a jingle, anything with a contest, anything with an endorsement of a celebrity or a cricketer goes off the menu. That's the first thing. The second thing that you must remember is something which I keep saying all the time, which is jitna packet khulta hai, utna pet fulta hai. So if you want to study, but you want to study in a way that it's not just making your brain sharper, but also your waistline slimmer. So then you must know that eating out of packets is not okay. It doesn't help your health. It doesn't help your local economy. It doesn't help your global ecology. But for now, it's not going to help your stress. It's not going to help your concentration. It's not going to help your ability to analyze. So, food is important. Eating on time is important. Skipping meals is not okay. Eating out of packets is not okay. Eating anything that has an ad is not okay. I hope you get the gist of it. All right. So don't eat stuff which has ads. Don't eat stuff which comes out of packets. Do not skip meals. These are the three most important things that you should remember when you're studying for this exam, because you must acknowledge that studying like the way you study for 17, 18 hours a day is going to take a physiological toll on your body. Just studying for this exam, I feel, is like it's a superhuman thing to just study for that long. The least that you should provide your body then is the right food, local, seasonal, traditional food. Okay. So now here goes. The first thing that I'm going to be talking to you about is what are the three foods that help improve concentration? And do you really need to improve concentration? Well, we all know that we all need to improve our concentration. Sometimes we just dive ourselves into our syllabus and we are studying and we are watching videos to learn better and stuff, and that all that we can think about is some breakup that we had, or the gym that we haven't gone to in the longest time, or we just start daydreaming about pani puri or bhel puri and stuff like that. So yes, concentration is important, and the three top foods which help you concentrate are: number one, tada, no surprises here, ghee. Ghee, or toop, or nahi as it is called, is extremely important for concentration. And you know why? Because all of this sitting for studying is going to make your lower body, especially your legs, quite weak. I've seen a whole lot of youngsters who are studying for the exam get lower back problems, get knee problems, having ankle issues and stuff. And you all know that ghee is something which helps improve the density of your bones and joints. That's just one reason that you need to be eating it. The second reason why you should eat it is because the strength in the lower body is linked to the performance of the brain, which is exactly why as we age, our brain begins to function a little suboptimal, because our strength in the lower body begins to dip. Ghee is something which can help you build that bridge. So make sure that there is ghee in your diet. That's the one reason. The second reason for adding ghee is that ghee is one of those essential fatty acids which has, since time immemorial, been considered to be something which actually helps nourish the brain. So you want your brain to retain a lot of stuff, and you want it to come to your use when you actually need to use it. How does this scenario compare with the current scenario? What should be the right answer? What would you end up saying? What did the law say? What's in the GK? What's in your history or geopolitics and stuff like that? You're going to need ghee for that. So ghee is something which will help nourish the brain. That's the second reason. And the third reason is a little bit of an aesthetic reason, and also at this point of time, an important reason for your immunity. Ghee is it's an essential fat, but then this essential fat ensures that you're actually able to assimilate fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin D, vitamin K. Now, vitamin D here is very, very important because we are all going to go in the rainy season where you're not going to be seeing the sun all that while. But if you have ghee in your diet, your body can ensure that from the little sunlight exposure that you're having, you are able to assimilate vitamin D. Vitamin D will also make sure that your immunity is in a good place. You all must have read that people with low vitamin D levels are also having more complications with COVID than people with adequate levels of vitamin D levels. And also, just because we are taking our exam, it's not that we have forgotten about how our skin and hair is looking. A lot of us worry that, studying endlessly takes its toll on our skin and on our hair. And ghee, because of its ability to help us assimilate fat soluble vitamins like A and E and K, ensures that your skin and hair stays in a good shape, because vitamin E is important for skin and hair, and also vitamin A, which is important for your eye health. If you're going to be so much on the laptop, if you're going to be reading so much, if you're going to be reading still in the middle of the night, your eyes are under a whole lot of strain, and ghee is going to help you with that. So the first food that you need to add to your diet for better concentration is ghee. You must also remember that adding ghee to your diet means no having soups and salads, eating maybe your paratha in a ghee, eating your shira once in a while in ghee, putting ghee on top of your rotis and sabzis, putting ghee on your dal and rice. So just all of the traditional methods of eating ghee is good. Also, ghee ensures that you're not constipated, because all this sitting is going to make you constipated. And if you're constipated, believe me, you're not going to be focusing on anything, leave alone concentrating on anything. You're just possibly going to be concentrating on how dull you're feeling, or when can you finally go and clear your stomach. Now ghee can help you with that. So the first food is ghee. The second food that you must add to your diet to improve your concentration is haldi. you know Haldi, as you all know, is something which is an anti-inflammatory. It is also something which helps you, keep most infections and stuff at bay. And if you've been studying, you do know that almost everyone, especially because you'll end up studying until late night, feels like, the next morning when you wake up, your rings don't fit, your feet seem a little swollen, you always seem like a little fatter than what you truly are, and you tend to have frequent headaches and stuff. Now, all of that is baseline inflammation in the body. And the one thing which can help you take that off is haldi. Haldi, again, have it in all of the traditional ways in your sabzis and dals and stuff. But more importantly, for all those of you who study late night and wonder that what can I have other than coffee, which will help me stay up, here's my super drink for you: a glass of milk with haldi, with a little bit of ginger. And if you would like, then just a little bit of nutmeg powder. And then that gets you up, alert, and awake in the most non toxic way. So, if you really feel that you're overdosing on coffee and you would like to bring an end to that, then it is ghee in milk. Use that, especially to stay up in the night and study. All right. So that is something which is important. And the third food that you should know, which helps improve concentration, in our culture also, a whole lot of us talk about how badam khake, or how almonds help improve memory. So not just almonds, but also all nuts that you can lay your hands on help improve memory. If you were to ask me to pick up the two most important thing that I feel every student should be eating for improved concentration, then I would pick almonds, and I would pick dates or khajur. So make sure that in your day you're at least having a few soaked almonds and a few khajur or a few dates, because both of them are mineral rich. They ensure that um, you know your hormones like insulin function at their optimum, and that you're actually able to retain everything and concentrate better on the food that you're eating. um, well, I do know that for girls, a lot of the girls who are studying, invariably they'll end up having some period problem or the other, and then that can take away at least a few days of your, of your month where you're not really studying at your optimum, and none of us can afford to do that. So if you're a girl who's studying and you have period problems, start your day with a few soaked black raisins. So a few soaked black raisins along with almonds, and it will do the trick, and you will have pain-free, smooth periods, and you're not missing out even a day or two every month when it comes to, what you need to invest in terms of time to study and crack an exam like this. So those are my top three concentration foods. Number one, ghee. Number two, haldi. Number three, dry fruits. And if I had to pick up anything which was really important, then of course I would say almonds and dates. And for all those of you who are having period issues, please include raisins. Now, de-stressing food before exams. Oh God, I mean, first of all, please do not get stressed about exams. You've all worked a lot. So the more relaxed you are for your exams, the better off you are at cracking it. You all know that. But there are things which will actually help you actively de-stress during exams. The number one food, which is known as a de-stressing food, is of course coconut. And coconut is something that you need to eat not just during exams, but you can eat it throughout the year. You know, before you start anything major, for a Bhumi Pujan or for a Murat shot of a movie, one of the first things that gets broken down is a coconut. Because what coconut does is that it makes your brain calm, and it gives your body with a whole lot of energy, so you're not low on stamina and you're high on the calmness quotient. So include coconut in your diet. You can eat your coconut any which ways that you like it. So you can have coconut water, especially important for all those of you who are having endless amount of chai and coffee. Have coconut water. You can have fresh coconut as garnishing on your subsies and stuff. You can have dry coconut and jaggery to actively de-stress. So, when you're looking for your in-between meals where you need to eat something and you're like, listen, but I do not want to eat chocolate or a cream biscuit. What can I eat? It is dry coconut and jaggery, especially for all those people who are chain smokers. There is nothing cool about smoking and studying, about doing toxic banned substances and studying. If you're feeling like there is this dependence on some stimulant, trust me, the best thing that you can do is have this dry coconut and jaggery. Also helps you beat all of the acidity that comes with studying crazy hours. So that's the first food. The second food, which everyone must have, so that you're actually not falling short on B12 levels and on hemoglobin levels, because I do know that just endless sitting, reading, not sleeping on time, all of that takes a toll on your health. And most students fall low on vitamin B12, on vitamin D, on hemoglobin levels. And if you're low on these three micronutrients, essentially it means that you're low on most micronutrients, which means that your health is going to be suboptimal. And if your health is going to be suboptimal, your functioning, whether it is your metabolic functions, whether it is your brain that's functioning, whether it's your concentration, focus, relationships, everything's going to be suboptimal, and you don't want that to happen. So what can help you? Well, a bowl of dahi every day. Again, dahi is something which is magical because it provides your body with healthy bacteria. It is a natural source of vitamin B12. It has a calming effect on your system, and you can eat it in multiple ways. You can make You can eat dahi rice, the simplest meal. Dahi rice is something you can also eat if you're staying up and studying in the night and don't know what is it that you can eat, but you're feeling very hungry. So dahi rice is one way of eating it. Just eating a bowl of dahi is another way of eating dahi. Making it into a chas, adding a little bit of kala namak and jeera is another wonderful way of eating it. Having kadhi chawal is a wonderful way to eat it. And, for all of you who would like to de stress and concentrate, having your dahi with a few dates in it or with a few black raisins in it is also a good way to have dahi. Now, what this also does is that it takes away the need to. It takes away all of the sluggishness, so that is something that you can have. And the third most important de-stressing food is a handful of cashews. Nothing de-stresses like cashews do, because cashews actually help improve blood supply. They actually help the cardiorespiratory function. It is also rich in iron, and eating food which is rich in iron means better hemoglobin levels, better oxygenation to the brain, and less stress. So, top three de-stressing foods are dahi and cashews and coconut. And make sure that you're having all these three in your diet so that you're not stressed and you are just alert and active before exams while you're studying. Um, Now, for the importance of physical activity. Well, if you really want to retain everything that you've been studying, you're logging in 17, 18 hours every single day, you're going on less than optimum sleep. The one thing which really helps you retain everything, and the one thing which will actually help you make sense of everything that you've been reading and preparing for, is physical activity. If you're not going to be physically active, if you're not going to be exercising, you can almost forget about cracking an exam like this, because then that's really not going to work. So make sure that you're physically active. Every time that you're sitting, if you feel that you're stretching your legs out, ruining your posture, stretching your legs out on the bed or on the table, it basically means that you need to stand up and get going. So stand up for every 30 minutes of sitting. If that's not possible, at least every 2 to 3 hours, I mean, at least every 1 hour, stand up a little while, maybe walk around, walk to a place from where you can like see really far away. That will also help your eyesight, that will also help your legs, it will also help reduce the headaches, and it will also help you keep your stomach compact. Make sure that you are making at least 30 minutes every single day to exercise. If you cannot go to the gym, at least do 5 Surya Namaskars every day. Without any kind of activity, like I said, you're just making life difficult for yourself. Do not do that. Okay. And then lastly, before I answer a few questions, sleep. Sleep is the most important thing. And there are two things that I would like to say here. Number one, please nap every day, but do not nap for more than half an hour. So about 20 minutes of a nap every day is a good way to really to unwind, to relax, and to help your brain retain everything that you have learned. It also helps the quality of sleep in the night. And then the second thing that you have to do is, just before you go to sleep, do not be on your laptop, phone, or WhatsApp and stuff. If you're reading, if you're studying, read it from a physical book. It will help you reduce anxiety, it will help you reduce acidity and bloating, and it will also ensure that you're sleeping well. If the quality of your sleep improves, you can actually nap only for 20 or 30 minutes. If the quality of sleep is poor, then you want to nap endlessly in the day, and you get into this whole uh, toxic cycle. Now, when you sleep well in the day, when you sleep well in the night, what it does is that it tells your brain what is the stuff that is worth retaining, what is the stuff which is worth deleting. It also helps you put together all the information that you have been studying and reading up on for months together, and it tells you how to make sense out of it. You all know this. I don't need to say this, but one of the reasons why cracking the UPSC exam is so tough because, in your multiple questions, when you're answering those, almost every option seems correct. And the only way you will know which is really the correct one is if you have been going through good sleep every night, because that's the stuff which will help you make sense of everything that you have been studying. How long should you sleep? Ideally 8 hours, but I do know that it may not be possible for you guys to sleep for 8 hours. So try at least between 6 to 8 hours every single day. I'm now going to be taking a few questions, you know. So for this long preparation of UPSC, what does a balanced diet consist of? Well, everything that we have been talking about right now is what makes up for a balanced diet. Make sure that you're not skipping your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure that you're not having your chai and coffee after dinner, so that way you're staying up in a nice way and not because you're too wired. Yeah, so those would be the basics. Don't skip your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Keep them local, seasonal, and traditional. Include a fresh fruit in your diet every single day. Have a handful of nuts every single day. Don't forget your glass of chas or dahi, and you're sorted. A balanced diet is pretty simple. It isn't complicated at all. The complicated stuff is what you're studying for. So that part of your life is already complex. So just simplify your diet. How to have a zero sugar diet? Should one avoid sugar completely? Well, no, one doesn't need to avoid sugar completely. Sugar that comes from fresh fruits is fine. Sugar uh, that you had like a teaspoon of sugar in your chai or coffee is absolutely fine. The stuff that you must avoid is packaged and processed food. So do not have sugar through colas, do not have sugars through caffeinated drinks or energy drinks, do not have sugar through chocolates and cakes and pastries and the likes, do not have sugars through cookies and biscuits. So keep it basic, keep it simple. If it's a sugar which went into your sharbat, a teaspoon of sugar in your chai or coffee, fruits every day, that is fine. Anything beyond that is too much. Okay. What are the asanas that can help avoid stress? Well, the afternoon nap is surely something that helps avoid stress. And what you can do is while you're studying, you can just lay down like this on your on your table. That is something which will help avoid stress. But if you were to ask me, for three quick asanas which help avoid stress, well, I feel number one, the Supta Padangushtasana. I've been showing that through all my social media platforms. Supta Padangushtasana, which involve lying down and stretching your leg up. Your hamstrings are stretched. Immediately you feel like you de-stress. Viparit Karni, which is lying close to the wall and letting your legs go up against the wall. Again, a change in blood supply moving towards the brain helps you de-stress. And the third thing which helps you de-stress is sitting in Vajrasana, because it helps improve digestion, again helps you de-stress. But along with these three asanas, make sure that you're making room for at least 5 Surya Namaskars every day, because together the whole package helps you de-stress. What should I eat while prepping for UPSC, which makes me healthy and not sluggish? All the stuff that I have been talking about. But with that, also make sure that you're expanding your portfolio of dals, pulses, and legumes. So, there needs to be the chola and the rajma and the moong and the kulit and the lobia and the matki and all of these pulses, at least about 7 to 8 pulses through the month. So expand that portfolio. It's good for protein, it's good for iron, it's good for de-stressing. And don't forget a handful of peanuts also. The superfoods that boost memory, I think we've already spoken about that. Everything that helps you de-stress is the stuff that will help you with memory. But if I had to pick up a few things, I would say haldi, ghee, ginger, nutmeg, use of spices in the kitchen, but using them correctly. is something which will help you with boosting your memory. Well, I'm going to take one question, which is how to avoid negative thoughts during exams and during the prep. My advice for that would be with a bout of exercise. A 30-minute bout of exercise releases feel good hormones in the brain. It actually allows your brain to become sharper than what it is when it is deprived of that 30 minutes of exercise. So, the best way to cut down on negativity is to exercise. So, make sure that you are doing that. And how to stay away from social media distractions. We'll use technology to stay away from social media distractions. Just put those, put an app on your phone which tells you that you've been on the social media platform for too long. That's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Unacademy, for having me, and Hindu for having me. I hope that this session was helpful. All the best. Have fun and crack that exam. Bye bye.